You are taking a look at a radar loop of what is now Potential Tropical Cyclone Four. This is a storm that we have been monitoring here at Fox 35. The Fox 35 storm team been warning you about this for days now, and the impacts getting ready to be felt here in Florida over the weekend. Good morning to you, and welcome to Fox 35 News Plus. I am Garrett Weimer, and we appreciate you joining us on this Friday morning, live on fox35orlando.com, the Fox 35 News app, and on Fox Local. Now, just a couple of moments ago, the National Hurricane Center issued an advisory for this Potential Tropical Cyclone Four. Here is where you can see it on the map there, off the coast of Cuba, about 90 miles off the coast of Cuba, about 420 miles from Key West. Now, they're saying right now maximum sustained winds 30 miles an hour, moving west-northwest at 16 miles an hour. Now, this is a disturbance that's expected to move over Cuba today, the National Hurricane Center says, cross the Straits of Florida on Saturday, and then move near or over the west coast of Florida Saturday night through Sunday night. And we expect a number of impacts here in our area, and we are going to speak with Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner here in just a couple of minutes. He is looking over this advisory and making some graphics and putting some things together, and as soon as he kind of goes through those things, he's going to be joining us here to kind of tell us everything we need to know. Meanwhile, today is the day to get ready and prepare for potential rain and even tornadoes, which are also possible to see with this storm. So today is the day to get ready. Here is actually one of Brooks's graphics kind of showing what you need to do and kind of that preparation timeline. So today, the day to top off those preparation kits, the groceries, medications, pet foods, things like that. Today is going to be your day to do that because it's nice out there right now, and it's just going to make your life a lot easier if that's something that you can do today to go ahead and get ready before this storm hits. And Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner is here with me now. And Brooks, we were just kind of setting it up, but we now have an advisory from the National Hurricane Center that just dropped in the last 5 minutes.
Right. This is brand new. I was working on this just in the last few minutes. If you hit the space bar, it should come up. This is now called Potential Tropical Cyclone Number 4. We just call it Potential Tropical System Number 4. Future Debby. And essentially, is this links? Are we on links 1?
Yes.
Okay. You know what?
It's just...
Can you, if you go back to the other source, it looks like it loaded the wrong graphic. Actually, is that links 1? Just check that out one sec. It may. Well, anyway, I can just tell you it does bring a tropical storm into Florida, coming our way for Sunday. Is okay. Johnny's in there right now. Johnny, are you on you're on links 1? Okay. Here, let me just jump out here real quick and see if I can. We're live right now, trying to see, but
we are trying to get that track so that people can kind of get a little bit of a better idea as Brooks gets that ready. This is going to be the future Debby, as you see on the graphic there. That is the next name on the list for this season so far, and this is something that is going to be heading our way. Now, just to go back to a previous point here, you can kind of see this preparation timeline. Today, the day, top off those prep kits, get your groceries, your medicines, your pet food. Also, a number of sandbag distribution sites around the area right now. We've seen a number of those. And so today would be the day to fill up those sandbags if you need them and do that as well. And then tomorrow, tie down loose lawn stuff, have supplies for the next few days, and then all of this preparation so that you can kind of hunker down on Sunday, because that's when we're going to be seeing the majority of those impacts here in our area.
All right, I got the graphic up,
all
and
right.
We're ready to show it.
All right, let's take a look at that now.
So the National Hurricane Center issued a Potential Tropical Cyclone Number 4 track. This will be called Debby if it strengthens into a tropical storm, as it's forecast to do. Right now, it's a tropical wave. They issue these because, well, back in the old days, you had to wait till it became a tropical depression until they could issue advisories. Right now, they are going to go ahead so people on the Gulf Coast can prepare and expect now Tropical Storm Debby to impact our region directly on Sunday. if we could hit the button one more time, we'll zoom in. I can show you some times. Perfect. Okay. In South Florida, they've issued some tropical storm watches and possibly warnings. This is just hot off the press right now, so I haven't had a chance to look at it. I'm going to look at it right now. But bottom line, warnings aside, we've got, according to the National Hurricane Center and according to our computer models, a tropical storm heading our way this weekend. The impacts here in Central Florida would be felt on Sunday. Now, it's important to note with the cone of uncertainty that two things. Number one, the center of the system may not be in the center of the cone. It could track farther west. It could track farther east. It could track right through Orlando at the center of what then will be Tropical Storm Debby. That is certainly in the cards. Regardless, the impacts will be the same with heavy rain, a tornado threat Sunday, and what could be some significant flooding around our region with between 7 and 15 or more inches of rain. Hurricane Ian dropped about 17 inches of rain. It came in one fell swoop. Each storm is different, but we've certainly seen flooding in the past in Florida, and we may see a similar situation with this only because we've had so much rain in the last couple of weeks and the water tables are high. 8 a.m. on Sunday, winds would be about 50 miles per hour into Tampa Bay with this orientation, sending water up into the bay and some storm surge. Gusts to 65 miles an hour. By Sunday evening, winds up to 65 miles per hour, strengthening, but then weakening as it enters the Atlantic. Gusts could be hurricane force, though, somewhere near the Nature Coast, but not so much in Orlando.
And Brooks, this is this is kind of our first look at this, but this is looking kind of like just about exactly what you were expecting and kind of talking us through.
That's
earlier.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I'd created sort of my own cone, if you will, cone of uncertainty, and in doing so, I was able to essentially create this same graphic a little bit early, so we were able to give you guys some earlier warning on this. The other thing I'd mentioned is that the impacts with a tropical storm like this are often east of the center, so don't focus so much on the center of the cone. In other words, you know how like in the current orientation, Orlando's on the edge of the cone? That doesn't mean Orlando's on the edge of the impacts. The impacts are going to go straight through to Vero Beach. It's a really big storm, and there's a lot of rain associated with it, and the tornado threat, which will extend from roughly the Bahamas all the way west to the coastline of Tampa, because this whole region will be on the right-hand side of the storm. Earlier I mentioned the tropical storm warnings. They haven't plotted yet, but we've got a tropical storm watch, it looks like, from the Pasco-Hernando County line, maybe up to the Chassahowitzka River, all the way south to basically Fort Myers. Then it becomes a tropical storm warning, meaning tropical storm conditions are expected. In red there, near Fort Myers, down to Marco Island, and all the way to the Everglades National Park, with tropical storm watches in effect for the Keys. So that's all just a heads up so folks there can start doing what they need to do as far as official preparations go. The governor yesterday issued a state of emergency for Florida, for our counties in Florida, with the rain anticipated. So even though this is going to come in as a tropical storm, I'm not expecting wind to be the legacy of the system for our viewing area. It will be the rain and the flooding potential. We do have a flooding potential that, maybe I can jump off here, jump over to that graphic. Flooding potential that could lead to significant totals. And we'll start here to show you the future radar. Garrett, we can circle through this. Rainfall rates will be anywhere from 3 inches per hour to 6 inches per hour, and just hit the space bar there, and we'll go through it. Yep. We're looking at, by Saturday evening, scattered thunderstorms developing as the first bands develop, a possibility of a tornado threat Saturday night. And here's a look at early Sunday morning, like 1 a.m., middle of the night, Saturday night. Those are going to be some heavy bands of rain. A lot of folks out and about doing stuff late on Saturday night. They're going to be facing some serious downpours and possible flash flooding, if not rain-wrapped tornadoes. Going to the next time frame there, head to Sunday morning, that possible tropical storm approaching Clearwater and Tampa, bringing with it copious amounts of flooding rain down I-4, Polk County, Hillsborough County, up through Pasco, Hernando, and Pinellas counties, not to mention the Manatee County area, DeSoto County, the Wauchula area, Highlands County, all the way south through Sarasota County. Cocoa Beach, look at that, out ahead of the main push there. There could be some strong storms. Those could be the storms that spin up tornadoes. So remember how the cone kind of ended in Orlando, but you can get effects way outside of the cone? That's the thing. You just got to consider the big picture, not exactly where the storm is tracking. Cocoa Beach, 9 a.m., certainly some big storms possible Sunday. We'll go through the time period, and you can see how the heavy rain then starts to rotate into Orlando between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., where we could have several hours, maybe 4 to 8 hours of rain. And it could come down in varying intensities, but could dump a ton of rain across the region. The exact track of this determines how much rain. The exact intensity determines how much rain. We don't know that yet. Best estimates suggest a moderate tropical storm and a lot of rain. So let's continue on through the time period. You'll see that this goes into Sunday night and to Monday. And ultimately, the center of circulation moves up through St. Johns County or Flagler County, bringing with it the heaviest rain offshore, lingering rain to follow. But this is where the rubber meets the road. It's the rainfall total. So let's go to the next graphic. Just keep on clicking through. We could see anywhere between 7 and 15 inches in that purple color. And where you see the white shadings, that could be up to 15 plus inches of rain. It's definitely not a guarantee at this point. There's a lot of what ifs still. It's Friday. This comes through on Sunday, and a lot can change. But it gives you an idea of what the atmosphere may be packing. And if we do see 15 to 17 inches of rain in spots, we could see flooding that resembled that of Hurricane Ian back in 2022. It's really tough to compare one storm to another because every storm has its own character. You know, it's not just the raw numbers of how much rain you get, it's how fast it falls. Does it fall within 2 hours or does it fall within 12 hours? That'll make a difference between how much can seep down into the ground or how much puddles and then, drainage systems can't handle. So that's also another consideration.
Yeah. I know you had talked before about the potential of it kind of stalling, but our understanding now is with this kind of latest track, it doesn't look like it's going to do that, at least.
Well, yeah, we hope not. And I think that the concern would be once it passes the latitude of about Jacksonville, Florida, does it slow down? Does it get blocked by Big Bermuda High? Does it just park out there over the southeast Atlantic and maybe even come back? Or does it continue on its trek and move out of our hair? So that would be the big determining factor. It doesn't look like necessarily it's going to stall over our area based on the latest projections. So that would be good news as far as we're concerned here, because with these rainfall rates, if this thing, say, stalled over Jacksonville or stalled over Ocala, we'd be looking at kind of an unthinkable situation for a lot of communities that are already super low, that already almost flood or do flood every time it rains.
As it is, these are still pretty eye-opening totals to see right now as far as potential rainfall.
Yeah, and looking back at our cone, just to give an idea, again, this was just released for folks just tuning in. Potential Tropical System number 4 is, I can help you out here. It's going to be a system which brings here something. Okay. Here, I get it. All right. Let's see. 1 second, Garrett. So, Potential Tropical System number 4 is expected to become a tropical storm after reaching tropical depression strength tomorrow, becoming a tropical storm as soon as 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. So a fairly rapid intensification. Now, if it slows down, it can't be ruled out that this becomes a brief hurricane. We'll have to see. Or if it goes a little bit farther west, more time over the warm waters. If it comes inland a little bit sooner, like say it comes inland around Marco Island or Naples, which is certainly possible, it would likely be a lower end tropical storm or even maintain its tropical depression status.
The impacts more we're talking about are that rainfall and the potential for those tornadoes, more so than just the hurricane winds.
Exactly. And a note about the tornadoes. These won't be like the big Midwest tornadoes. These would be quick spin-ups where there's very little warning, like a band is coming through, it's pouring, and all of a sudden there's a tornado warning, and maybe it's on for 10 or 15 minutes, and then it goes away. They'll move at like 50 or 60 miles per hour, so it's not the kind of thing where you want to go out and try and take photos of them. They'll be rain-wrapped, and they'll be fairly weak, about maybe EF0 to EF1, enough to tear down fences, toss trampolines, take out some trees, and maybe some roof damage if you're unfortunate enough to have one hit your house. But I think the key with any tornado warnings that are issued are, if they're issued in your area, act fast, because you may only have a few seconds before it's actually impending for your location, or a few minutes at best.
All right, so what's next for us? The day ahead here, as we expect more updates on this.
So weather-wise, today's going to be quiet, and it'll be quiet for much of the day tomorrow. So any preps you need to do, as far as, and you talked about it, groceries, prescriptions, all that stuff, today and tomorrow are your days. As far as the next thing to watch on this, well, we've got to wait for the system to emerge over the Straits of Florida, and at that point develop into a tropical depression. That could happen as soon as tonight, so we'd wait on that to have it upgraded to a tropical depression, and then most likely tomorrow, Saturday evening, it would be upgraded to a tropical storm. And at that point, we'd have Tropical Storm Debby. They might adjust the cone a little bit, and new warnings would be issued up and down the coastline. Right now, it's a tropical storm watch for the Tampa Bay region. They could have some storm surge up there if folks are watching from Hillsborough County. Places like Bayshore, Harbor Island, Davis Islands, some of the really prone spots could see a storm surge with this kind of a setup of a couple of feet. Not enough to cause any kind of epic flooding, but enough certainly where you'd see the bay coming up a lot.
All right. Well, we will continue to keep an eye on this. Brooks, we appreciate the breaking down that latest information for us.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, I don't think this is going to be a major wind event for Orlando, but I do think that we could have life-threatening flooding on Sunday. And what I mean by life-threatening is you don't want to drive through floodwaters if you can't tell the depth. Your car could get stuck, and unfortunately with tropical systems, a lot of lost life happens from people trying to drive through floodwaters.
Even more of a reason to do what you need to do today, even tomorrow if you have to, so that come Sunday, when all of that is coming through, you can, like you said, stay at home, stay out of it.
That's right.
All right, Brooks, thanks.
You bet.
We are going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we have much more to come after this.